circumstance, we'll just get him to do a form next door and take $20 off him for the day. And then it's a day licence that is issued on the day.
Got it just in time.
November.
And your driver's licence current?
Yep. Can you see that?
Oh no, this is 15 now. I had one that was the 11th. Really pay attention to those lines. Also, when you go around with them, pay attention to where you're going to have to pull into the pits, because that's really important. Now, just a few rules that we have that may vary a little bit different from others. We normally have a rule that you can only pass in this section of the circuit. You only pass another track. We're here to have fun. We're not here to win a race. There's no sheep stations to be won, etc. If you're holding someone up coming around here, please let them go.
1964, Graham Hill held the lap record here at 64.8 seconds in a Formula One car. Today, the lap record here is held by Paul Teakle in a Formula 3 car at 46.2 seconds. It is a very, very quick piece of road. Sadly, the other thing about Lakeside is that there has been more drivers killed here than any other racetrack in Australia. And we added to that number by one in calendar year 2013. All of these accidents are single vehicle accidents. This is just some photos, not necessarily in any sort of order. All of these people were here for the very first time, and in each and every instance, these accidents actually occurred on the first, second or third lap. And that guy was on his first lap coming out of the carousel, and that was after he head-butted the wall.
When we had that briefing, and that guy had showed those photographs of new people to the track and all of the crashes, and they'd done it on lap 1 or lap 2 or lap 3. I thought, oh my God, I'm putting my two sons in two supercars, very, very high performance cars, on the most dangerous, fastest track in Australia. And as a father, this is probably not a good strategic plan. And in fact, at one stage when he'd finished his address, I thought, oh my God, what am I doing here?
They're all single vehicle accidents, they're all the driver error, where quite frankly, the person driving the car just ran out of ability at the wrong spot. We've got the black bitumen, we've got that little bit of grass, and then we've got the walls. There are no runoff areas. We've put in a couple of little gravel traps which will not stop you from hitting the wall. All they will do is make it slower when you hit the wall, okay? Please remember that as you come down out of Eastern Loop, the best policy is to pull it into fourth gear, even if you have to short shift, and come onto the main straight in fourth gear. Around here, the early turn-in is what will cost you and pay a high price. If you turn in too early, you'll run wide in the second half of the corner, and when you run wide in the second half of the corner, you go off the road. When you go off the road here, you hit something. Pretty much how it works. It'll help you today if you aim for an apex point nearly 3/4 of the way up that curve, because you won't run quite as wide on the exit. And again, hungry, called hungry because it eats cars. It's been doing so for 40 years. Again, you turn in, it's a little bit banked, but then on the second half of it, it's heavily off camber. And although there's 3 football fields of grass out here, they go out there and spear across, and it's all downhill into the wall, and that's when he broke the front out of that RX-7. So, up the top of the hill, Eastern Loop, there's a curve right around here, and the apex is the middle of that curve, way around there. So don't turn in too early, sort of stick in the middle as you get to the top of the rise, and then turn it in, and run it out. We put some witches hats down the edge here, because there is a significant drop-off on that edge. If you aim for that first hat and run down that left edge, pull it into fourth, and onto the main straight.
We then went out with the professional drivers, and they took us around the track in their cars and showed us the lines and how one should go about handling that track.
The more experienced people, would you not go too quick? They're not going to learn anything or take in waypoints and notice what you're doing if you're going too quick.
And then I found out that the lines going into corners where the corners would have 2 or 3 arcs and curves and drop-offs and
the excitement of it all will override the learning curve. So just take them out and cruise around and make sure you tell them what you're doing. Don't just show them.
At that stage I was seriously questioning whether I had planned a good day or not. Adrian is a pretty special guy. He's my employee, friend, and Adrian and I have built 3 Rivieras together. And he's a motor mechanic by trade. He prepared the cars. He is anal when it comes to preparing those cars. He's got a little bit of work to do now that they're covered in rubber and bugs and I'm not sure if bullshit sticks, but there's a bit of that on the cars, I think. No, Adrian is very special. You couldn't get a better fellow to be preparing the cars for what we did. And bear in mind, we gave those cars 3 hours of pretty serious driving.
Adrian reckons that's as good as it gets you to close on.
And you can pick Benny in the car because he's like a lighthouse in a dinghy, because he's that tall. Benny showed a great deal of maturity today. It's his first track day. He was handling over 500 horsepower.
The conditions were perfect. It was the first real time that I'd actually taken the Ferrari out and seen what the car can do. As a relatively inexperienced driver, the car was absolutely fantastic. It was just an absolute thrill to be able to unleash the car on the track and do it in a really safe but really fun way. I went out first in the 430 and then twice in the 458. The first time I went out in the 430, I found that I was a little bit nervous, and so I wanted to take it pretty easy, and I wanted to try and find the racing lines of the track as well. The second time I went out in the 458, I was a lot more confident. I knew what I was doing. The nerves had settled a little bit. The adrenaline was still there, but it was under control. And I found that I was a lot more comfortable. Probably the best feeling I had was the last time I went out in the 458, and I really felt at home on the track by then. As I said, even though being an inexperienced driver, the car really helps you to be able to perform on the track in a really safe way, but a really fun way as well.
Well, I guess it's an opportunity for the kids to show a little bit of personal character, skill, determination and safety. Now that's a fairly big mix. And you're throwing that with a supercar on a racetrack. Phew, that's a bit of a big call.
Coming down the main straight at 200 k's an hour, as well as some of the corners, taking them at up to 150 was just absolutely unbelievable. It's really easy to get caught up in the moment while you're driving the car. It takes a fair bit of concentration to actually focus on what you're doing. But there's a lot of really cool things about the 458 that I really enjoyed, such as on the steering wheel, it has an LED readout of the RPM of the car. So as it gets closer to redlining, it's got in your peripheral vision on top of the steering wheel, it has an LED readout, which means that you know exactly when to paddle shift up and down gears when you're going around the racetrack. So while you're driving on the track and you do have the focus, there are some things in the car that really help you drive the car to its limits. Not that I got too close to them today, but yeah, it was absolutely an incredible experience to be able to drive a car like that. Ferrari is a factory-built supercar, and as you can imagine, the performance in it is just incredible. No one really gets to experience something like this. It's a very unique experience for a family to be able to do. We're extremely grateful for our dad giving us these opportunities and letting us have these experiences. And it's been a fantastic thing, I think, for the family to be able to come up and enjoy a day with a couple of Ferraris and have a bit of family bonding time as the father and the couple of sons. As we've grown up, we've been given the opportunities to get exposed to some some motor racing and stuff like that throughout the years. So just incredibly grateful to be able to enjoy these experiences, and Dad's been really helpful in enabling those opportunities for us as we've grown up. So just very, very, very humbled at being able to experience a day like this.
The boys surprised me. I mean, up on the station, the cattle station I had, I taught them to drive quad bikes and motorbikes and whatever. I didn't realise that whatever background they received on driving on dirt would give them the skill that they have clearly now on driving supercars on probably one of the most difficult racetracks in the country.
It was an incredible family day. We had a lot of fun. Probably the last session that me and Nick had was the most fun. Nick's a better driver than I am, for sure, and it was really, really nice that the second time that we went out, I felt a lot more confident to be able to try and push it a little bit harder, and him and I were pretty much keeping up with each other at certain points in the track. Nice to be able to enjoy that as a family. Not many families get to experience something like this, and it's a very, very unique thing to be able to do. We absolutely had a ball. It's been one of the most incredible days I've ever had, for sure.
I'm very proud of them. They showed some respect for what I'd offered them. But I guess they got a little bit of the old man in them. They're not famous for coming second. That's the first of the losers. And it's been a great day. I don't think I could have engineered a better day than today.